Teachers, I'm offering this video to help you get a deeper understanding of the final assignment for this class, Assignment 3. You already know that you have demonstrated your mastery of lesson planning, so it seemed pointless to have you do the same assignment over again. So instead, I think this is an opportunity for you to think deeply about your assessment practices. And I gave you a choice. You can either do this work with the unit plan or the lesson plan that you've already developed. Whatever you choose is fine with me, but I would like you to follow the same format no matter what you choose. So these guidelines that I sent to you by email, the guidelines really include the format that I would like you to utilize in order to create this assignment. So basically it's starting out with an essay discussing the assignment with the points I put on here, I'll get to in a minute, followed up by the actual rubric for the assignment. Now, there are certain critical aspects of this assignment that must be included here, and that's why I gave you this guide. So if you think about it, a complete explanation of your plan, focusing on the rubric requirements, which you get to create. Okay, you see my rubric requirements for this assignment. You think those through for your students. And while I'm talking about that, if you look at your lesson plan and you think, I'm not so sure what I've asked the students to do in this lesson requires a rubric, or that a rubric would fit in this case, that's the very reason I told you you can not do what you created in your lesson plan and come up with a different assessment. And I said in the email, you don't have to go back and change your lesson plan. Matter of fact, you can't once you've gotten all the points, but it will just be assumed that you chose a different route. Okay, that's important to understand. Next, a fully developed rubric that will be used by you and the students to evaluate successful completion of the performance goal related to your lesson or unit. Now, what I mean by that is in your opening discussion of the assessment plan, you really should include that you plan on giving this assessment plan to the students for them to think about prior to asking them to complete the work at the end of the lesson or the unit. So that would mean, yeah, you'd have to go back and change your lesson plan, which means I'm telling you, you don't have to do that. This is another look at a lesson. And you certainly wouldn't do this work in every single lesson you teach. But you really do need to do this type of assessment plan from time to time in your unit. All right. The last thing it says in here is a final discussion of what you learned by completing this process. I really want you to reflect on this and think about what you really gleaned from this process. What was meaningful to you? So, the first part of your assessment plan is an essay. How long? You know what I'm going to say. Long enough to give all of the information that's needed to be shared in order to complete the categories on my rubric at an advanced level. All of you know you'll be able to revise. And this is why I'd really like you to get those in on Tuesday. I know Dr. Uribe said to her students, she didn't care when they turned them in. I really care because I need you to have time to revise. Okay, I want to get to the rubric briefly. And the first is two are really obvious. I don't think I need to go over those. The learning target and performance goal, they have to be included in your essay, obviously. Now, bilingual learners, you have to discuss in your essay, I don't think it will fit necessarily in your rubric, but you need to discuss in your essay which parts of your rubric are designed specifically to meet the needs of bilingual learners. And then you see in the next category, which parts of your rubric are designed specifically to meet the needs of the exceptional learners, and this has to be based on UDL, okay? And I actually mentioned those pieces. You will include a rubric. I think that's pretty obvious. What's not obvious is how many categories. again, as many categories as are necessary to evaluate advanced performance on whatever the assessment is. Okay? So you get to play with those and you get to decide. So think of it in that way. What do these students need to demonstrate? What are the key elements that will let you know as a teacher that they understand and have learned what you wanted them to learn? Samples of assessment. If you would include here's where when I say samples, does it necessarily have to be 3? Does it have to be 2? It depends upon you. Yeah, if you just want to include a sample that you consider would be advanced and one that you consider would be proficient, great. If you want to just include one that's advanced and one that needs improvement, excuse me, great. You get to decide, but you need more than just an advanced sample. How about that? Effective feedback. In that essay, you should be talking about how you plan to get feedback to the students. And as it says here, discusses exactly how the teacher plans to give feedback to the students. And also, I'm putting in there discussing how you're going to allow the students to revise. Finally, self and peer assessment. The assessment plan, which would probably be in your essay, clearly discusses how the students will be deeply involved in the assessment process. How are you going to adjust your lesson plan to allow the students to do self and peer evaluations? So there you go. Essay followed by the rubric. An essay is going to hit many of these main points on my rubric. If you have any other questions, please email me, call me. But if you can at all, please try to get that in by Tuesday. If not, by Friday at the end of the next week, which would be what? April 29th. All right. Have a great day. I hope this helps. Bye.